Hey guys, it's your boy Knicks Banks coming back at it again this week with another video. I want to thank you guys for rocking with me through that short hiatus, but we're back at it again, and we're talking Kevin Knox. Bless up. All right, guys, let's talk Kevin Knox. So, if we look back at his rookie year coming in, the take on him was up and down. Some guys felt really happy that we got him. Some guys felt upset that we didn't go for Michael Porter Jr. And some guys were kind of in the middle and just waiting to see what happens. Now going into his sophomore season, he struggled a lot, a huge sophomore slump throughout the majority of it. And guys were comparing him to Michael Porter Jr. towards the end of the season. And a lot of guys felt like he was a disappointment and a bust. And were upset that we drafted him. Now, you guys know me. You know I'm the biggest #1 fan of the Knicks youth movement. And I've never really said anything bad about Kevin Knox. I can't say that at any point in time I was like, this guy, he has no talent, no potential, he sucks. But I also can't say that I thought that he would be playing like he's playing now, right? I mean, the stats don't jump off the page, right? And this is what it, as basketball fans, we can't base everything off of stats. You need to watch his impact on the game. He can shoot, all right? He can flat out shoot. Now, going into his first season, right, we saw flashes of everything. That's how I would categorize his rookie season. It was the flash, right? We saw flashes of that jump shot, him shooting from deep, all this stuff, right? We saw flashes of his athleticism, his quick first step, his ability to jump over guys, That was the rookie season, the flashes that we saw. But we also saw motor issues. We saw defense problems. We saw he looked overwhelmed at times, right? So we saw both. But the flashes made it worth it. Going into his sophomore season, he was questionable. I mean, he was really, really questionable. I think a lot of us were looking at him and, even myself trying to analyze his game, we saw his foot speed was really slow. And I don't know if that was a motor issue. I believe, from seeing him this season, I have to assume that those slow feet were really a motor issue, unless that's, he trained specifically for that. But, he just seemed slow, like offensively and defensively, to just pick up his feet. It looked like his feet were dragging and he wasn't having crisp step. We also saw that he had a hard time because he had very little confidence in himself throughout most of the season. So his shot wasn't falling. And in the rookie season and in the sophomore season, we saw that his finishing wasn't that great because oftentimes he was just throwing up the ball. All right. He would go to the rim, and I don't know if he just didn't really know how to finish well, or if he was trying to avoid the contact, or if he was trying to draw a foul each time, but I'm not sure. But what I can tell you is it was ugly and it was inefficient. He would, go to the rim, throw something up, and trying to avoid the contact. So he would normally fall as he's throwing something up. And it just wasn't efficient and didn't work for him. You're athletic, you're tall, you're long. Go to the rim and play hard. You know what I mean? Use your advantages. So going into this season, we saw that. His rookie season, he was averaging 12 points per game, but pretty inefficiently. This season, he's been averaging 8 points per game, but much more efficiently, shooting 44% from the three-point line. And honestly speaking, he makes you wonder, maybe on this team he deserves a starting role. He's been playing consistently each game, and maybe you move RJ back to the 2, and you put Knox up at the 3. And defensively, he's a liability, but we need shooting. And Bullock is not getting it done. He's had some good games, but he's had a lot of really bad games. And between RJ, Randall, and Mitch, these are guys that are they're not perimeter-based guys. And with Peyton starting, although I think quickly probably takes his spot at some point, but you have a lot of guys clogging up the paint, either by way of their game or just not being able to play their own game, right? So Kev really opens up the floor for these guys, because if you look at our roster so far this year, he's the 3rd best shooter on the team. First being Alec Burks, second being Frank Ntilikina. Him shooting 44% on 4 attempts per game. It's not bad at all, and I'll definitely take it, especially in that starting lineup. He'll definitely open up that game for Randall, for RJ, and for Mitch. You really can't hate on the kid. Coming into last season, I think we were excited, hoping for progression, but we saw his minutes take, a big dip, his confidence take a big dip, and overall, he seemed to regress as a player. This season, he's much more confident. He's putting that ball up, and when he does, it has a tendency to make its way in. You know what I mean? Like, he knows what he's doing this season. Even in his rookie season, he averaged more points, but he seemed lost. He seemed lost on that end, on both ends, offensively and defensively. He just didn't always look like he knew what he was doing. This season, he looks like he's confident. He knows what he's doing. He's on that court, and he's playing like he deserves to be there. He's an NBA player now. You know what I mean? And that's not to discredit what he was before. That's not me trying to, throw a jab at him. He just looks like a guy that belongs out there, right? And there's a lot of guys in the NBA that don't look like they belong out there. But he looks like, he deserves his spot and potentially an even greater role on this team that needs his talent so badly. We need that shooting, and we can use that athleticism, to get out there in that fast break. And if he keeps playing hard and uses his motor the way he has been, then it's worth the shot. Defensively, do I trust him to, lock down the elite small forwards of the league? No. I don't really trust anyone to lock down the elite small forwards or elite players at all in this league. But if he plays hard, you can make team defense adjustments to incorporate him, because we just simply put need his shooting, and it would be wonderful to have him step his game up and make this team better. I think my goal for him is to see him average about 15 points per game. I think he has the skill set. If you watch him, he's like a KD light. He's tall. He's very, long-limbed. He can shoot the ball. He's not afraid to put the ball on the floor. He doesn't necessarily have great handles or the playmaking ability that KD has shown. He doesn't have that shooting at that level that KD has shown. And he can't finish like KD. But he does have athleticism. He has shooting. He's tall. And he can make matchup problems. I think it's important that we try to develop these guys. He's a young guy who I think actually is worth something. Last season, realistically speaking, to most teams, he wasn't worth anything. This year, he's proven that he belongs out there. He's worked hard. He was out there with lethal shooter Chris Matthews. He worked on his game. He's confident. He's shooting that ball, and he's attacking the rim. and he just looks good out there. He looks good. He's, dunking on guys occasionally. I would say my one main gripe with the kid, the one thing that I would say this kid needs is to be more aggressive. All right. He looks confident, but he's definitely not aggressive. I want to see him be aggressive. We don't really have too many perimeter-based guys out there, so that perimeter is open for him. The perimeter is open for him, and we need that spacing. We need that shooting. Guys, let me know what your opinion is, how you guys feel on Kevin Knox. Do you still feel like he's a bust? Do you still wish we drafted Michael Porter Jr.? Or are you excited for what the future may hold for Kevin Knox? Make sure you guys go in that comment section. Let me know what it is. Bless up.